Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you today? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so welcome to our encounter number 5, and I'm going to show you one. So, first of all, we are going to start um, talking about, or I'm going to ask some questions about this week activity that is the virtual learning environment. So we are going to reflect um, upon this activity. And well, then I would like to talk a little bit about assessment, that I think it is an important part of your virtual learning environment. And I think there are some things we need to improve. So we will talk about curriculum instruction and some methods of assessment because all these three aspects are related. So in relation to curriculum, we will talk about its characteristics, Bloom's taxonomy. About the instruction, we will talk about its characteristics as well, the memory processing system, and the instructional practices. And finally, we will talk about some methods of assessment. So that is what we are going to do today. Okay. So first of all, I would like to ask you this question, taking into account that this is the activity we are working on this week. So first of all, I would like you, uh, one person of each group, to tell us about your virtual learning environment. What is it about? What is the topic? Um, what website did you use to create your virtual learning environment? The second question is, how do you include assessment in your virtual learning environment? So let's talk a little bit about the tools you included to assess your students. Then the question number 3 is, what difficulties have you had in the process of creating your virtual learning environment? And finally, what are the strengths you consider your virtual learning environment has? Sorry, okay. So, first of all, I would like you to tell me or to tell us about your virtual learning environment. It could be one person from each group. Okay, any volunteer?
Me, teacher, Sarah.
Okay, Sarah, thank you very much.
Okay, I am working with Rafael, and our BLE is about what are you wearing. So our description is some description about people can describe how they are wearing the clothes or some jewelries or accessories. This for us is on a wonderful experience. We never, I think so. I don't know, Rafael, I think that he never worked about the Sana BLE. The difficulties for us has been, for example, we thought work in weeks, sorry, but we changed we have to change the website because, for example, Linguist is not allowed to add flash games. It's impossible to link in this website. But we had to choose on Weebly. It's another tool in order to create this BLE. And one more, Rafael, help me. What are the strengths? I think that maybe the activities are very interesting, the videos, the games. So what do you think, Rafa?
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah. Can you hear me, teacher?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, as my partner Sarah was talking about BLE, our BLE. Sorry, teacher. Wait a moment. I have to set in something on my microphone here that I have feedback. Sorry. Okay, now. Well, we are going to include our assessment. Thinking in the situation of young students that looking for they're enjoying. We want to try that this VLE it is like very dynamic, very interactive, and they like to enjoy the process of learning, and for them to be something different that in a class. Yeah, when we are in a classroom, students sometimes they get bored, and that's that we don't try to find in this virtual learning environment. We want the students get fun with different activities like games, like some funny videos. When through them they understand very well the topic that we're trying to teach. In this case, as Sarah said, our topic is what are you wearing? Focus in the topic, the present continuous tense, and they will be able to like to use in the correct way this tense. And we are going to also we are going to talk about vocabulary. We are going to talk about different vocabulary like clothes, colors, and sizes, and they are going to learn different kind of things in this different vocabulary. Also, they are going to find sounds. They are going to repeat different sounds, and in this way they can learn in a different way these kind of expressions. For example, I'm wearing a blue jacket, and there is a song playing, and they are going to repeat the song. In that way, they learn in a different manner these kind of expressions. About assessments, we are going to adopt some activities in an application that is called EducaPlay. We are going to try to do it some activities there in order to for example, they can match vocabulary. They can match, for example, in English and Spanish, they are going to match different vocabulary of clothes, for example, or colors. And well, we want to do this with the help of our effort. Talking about the strengths, I think that we are trying to find like the motivation of the young students. That motivation included in a different way to learn. That they are going to play, they are going to watch videos, they are going to do different activities that they want to do really. Yeah, because sometimes they don't want to do like activities like they are boring and they don't find it useful for them, and so with this kind of activities they can do different things. Thank you very much.
I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Teacher, additionally, we are going to include the difference between the some important verbs, wear, carry, and take, because many children are confused with those kinds of verbs. So our idea is to explain that in order that the kids organize the correct grammar with the present continuous.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you for sharing your experience with us about creating your virtual learning environment. And well, what happened to you is something that happens very frequently, and that is it's that you have to change your plan because initially you wanted to work with Wix, but you discovered it didn't have the tools you needed, so that's why you had to change to Webly. And well, that's something that happens. Sometimes we need to change that, but the important part is the final product. Okay, so thank you very much, Rafael and Sara. Who
Okay.
wants to continue? Okay, Liliana, go ahead, please.
Wait, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, teacher, thank you. Well, I have about our where I am working with Francisco and Sandra. The idea for us is create a platform. We are working in Class Dojo, trying to work with Class Dojo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if the thing that we are doing now is correct or I'm not sure. The idea is we are working with preschool guys in 5 to 6 years. So the idea is create a platform with Class Dojo because it's for them. I know that the platform has monsters. So the idea is that the student create a monster, and we have to put some activities with. The topic is vocabulary about clothes, about greetings. I don't remember family and food. The idea is create activities like video or games, interactive games, and reading, and maybe some activities related with arts in order to improve their vocabulary about the topics. That is the idea. The difficulties is that we don't manage the platform very well, so we have to work a lot with that.
Yeah.
And the strain is that we are working hard in order to learn how to manage the platform. But my question is about I'm not sure. We have to create a website or work in a platform.
You have both possibilities. You can create a website, for
Okay.
example, the ones that are using Wix or Webly, well, or you can use like a virtual classroom or a learning management system, for example, Moodle or the one
Schoology.
school. Yeah, yeah. In that case, if you are using a virtual classroom or a platform that has everything designed, what you or your work is to include the material and the resources students are going to use in that platform. Yeah, so you have
Okay.
both possibilities.
Okay, teacher.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Liliana. Sandra or Francisco want to say something? To include something else about it?
Me, teacher.
Okay, Francisco, tell me.
Teacher, for instance, in the virtual learning environment, we can use a PowerPoint presentation, attaching it in the platform,
Of
for
course.
example.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use any kind of tool you want to include.
Okay, teacher.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, right. Very good. Okay, thank you, Liliana, Francisco, and Sandra. Okay, Giancarlo, go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, to answer the questions, I'll start saying, well, I designed the virtual learning environment with my partner Arley. I think he's present. I saw him around. We're working in the platform at Modo. That's what we planned. Um, so that's pretty much what we want to do is create putting the content, taking advantage of the opportunity that there's already many platforms that are created for this purpose. And how are we supposed to include the assessment part in our virtual learning environment? Well, there are several things we have been thinking, or in this category, for example, and we were thinking about assessment and self-assessment processes. And assessments, for examples, we will create like a test. I was thinking that maybe a test or a short quiz, if the platform allows us to do that. We're still like the other group exploring the platform itself so that we can get to handle it properly and start filling it with the content, with the best content possible. But we're thinking pretty much about doing that, like adding like a quiz and a peer-to-peer assessment so we can comply with that. What difficulties have you had in the process of creating your BLE? I think it's pretty much the fact that we need to become a little bit more familiar with using the platform itself and the different options that it has. I think that's the most difficult part because the platform was already created, so we're not like familiar with it, which is a little different from others who are like creating their own website and putting in the information as they want. And what are the strengths of our BLE? I think even though it's at the same time, it's a difficulty or something that we need to go over. It's the fact that it's already created for the purpose. So Edmodo offers pretty much all the tools and everything is there. All we need to do is just know how to use them so that the students, when they access to the platform, they found all the contents available easily and in a way that they can understand how to like find their way or their paths through the whole contents that we were proposing. Our topic is present simple, and we want to include vocabulary regarding like daily routine activities, things that you can do at home, professions and stuff like that. So that would be the answer for the questions. I thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Someone else?
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you're going to complement what Giancarlo said. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, I think like maybe he already answered all the questions, but I think like it's very important also like to highlight that this platform and also the activities that we want to include there is like use the platform only like as a tool or like a complement, but because the idea is like to leave there some links also for students to go to other resources and take advantage of other resources that are going to help the tool to be like to be more complete for the students, and they would have like a better environment to learn. That's something that was missing, but the rest was okay. Actually, that's what my partner said answers all the questions that you made.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And what you said is true. Well, you have the advantage that you are using a platform that was designed for a learning purpose, and well, you count on the different tools you need. You need like, well, these kind of platforms already have like the communication tools, assessment tools. Well, the tools that we are asking for in the rubric. The challenge we have is to enrich this platform and to meet your students' needs with the material and the tools you include here. But yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, who wants to continue? Okay, Joanna, go ahead, please.
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening.
Okay, my team is with Flor de Lis and your neighbor.
Mhm.
We are working with a topic for an third grade or an age between 9 and 10 or 11 years old, and our topic is about a picnic day. We want to include different in a grammar. We want to include the word with the there is and there are and the some and any, and we want to put different vocabulary to catch the attention to the child with the different food. It's not use the same the vegetable, maybe another important names or food, or in that case. The idea with the bill is for a moment it's a little complicated for us to use the weeks. We want to work with weeks. Really it's complicated the first time that we use it, and we create that kind of tool for our student or for us. Sometimes it's so stressful. I feel so worried because the time is too short, and we want to do a good job. But it's okay. For a moment, we are planning the activities that we want to use, or the different links which the student can maybe can deeply can start in a deeply form the topic. So we are select different photographs, different links, in that case audios too, and we want to put an exercise to improve the pronunciation in the food. That is really important. But for a moment, you are create use the planning or and have a Word document with all the link that we have to use. The weeks we are watching tutorials for the creation, because for us really a little difficult. Obviously we can do it, but oh my god, so hard for us. About the include assessment, we are trying to create a new for the student. Maybe they can participate with a picnic day. How can they can planning on a picnic day? What kind of food they can have in their picnic, or with who they can share the picnic. That is just an idea for a moment. I know that the time is short, but we can do it.
Yeah, of course. And Wix has like some templates you can use. You don't need to create like the whole environment, because you have like templates according to your needs. It has like templates for business, for education. Well, so it could help you, or maybe you are using.
Okay, no, that is a good idea. I went to it here in my note. That is good. I think that is a nice topic for the student, and I think that they need to learn visual tools or visual forms to try to understand in a good way the topic, because sometimes the use of any and some is difficult for child. So we try to use the best way to say or to show the child that it's not difficult and that it's funny to learn the use of the some and the any.
Okay, Joanna, thank you very much.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Carolina, go ahead, please.
Okay, teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hello to everyone. Okay, I'm working with Mayra Alejandra Garcia, and actually we are going to create a blog. Our virtual learning environment, it's about, the topic is daily routines. So we are going to check the different verbs, like the main verbs that a child can use to describe their daily routines. So we are going to use a blog so they can upload information every day. They can like, yeah, tell their classmates what are they doing, or yeah, what they usually do on a day, during a day. The difficulties, actually, for example, in my case, I created a blog like when I was in 11th grade, I think. So I'm trying to take like some tutorials too. I'm trying to like get in touch with the topic. So that's the difficult part. And actually, we are going to include like co-evaluations so the kids can talk about their experience and their classmates experiences too. And what are we working with this tool or with this activity? They can start like or they can, yeah, they can um I don't know how to say. Yeah, they can work more on their writing skills, and actually not like very connected with their experience. So that's why we choose that topic, and that's the way that we're going to work.
What website are you going to use?
We are like between Wix and Blogger. Those are the two like that seems to be more like easier to work with, because it's something like new for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolina.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Someone else? Or did all the groups share their experience? Or am I missing someone? I don't know. Well, okay, if you want to say something, please let me know. Okay, I'm going to continue with the presentation. Well, this presentation is about assessment, but well, assessment is very related to curriculum and instruction. That's why I want to talk about those three aspects. So it's just for you to take this into account, and you can include or you can make improvements to your virtual learning environment. Okay. So first of all, what is curriculum? Well, it is like what you teach. The skills are concepts. Yeah. You include here cultural literacy statements. You have to take into account sequence and pace, standards like categories or broad statements of what students will understand or be able to do within a specific subject area. Benchmarks, that refers to the grade level performance statements. And well, standards are the same across grade levels, and benchmark vary. Yeah, so that's the difference between those two terms. Something that is very important about assessment is that, well, like goals are, in this case, when we talk about standards and benchmarks, they take into account goals, and assessment is always based on goals. So when you are going to assess your students, or when you are going to develop a self-assessment process, you always have to keep the goal in mind. Yeah. So that's why this part of curriculum is related to assessment, because the standards and benchmarks are related to what you expect your students to achieve. That's why those are the things that guide the assessment process during the learning process. Yeah. Okay. So here is what I told you before. You have to begin with the aim in mind. So it's important to review curriculum and standards. Then you have to describe the learning students are expected to accomplish. It's important when you are going to start a learning process, the students need to be aware of what you as a teacher expect from them. Yeah. So that's why you have to find different strategies to socialize your goals and to check for students' understanding of those goals. Yeah. So here you can find that the standards refer to that which students are expected to learn and that by which they will be judged. It's important to think about the kinds of evidence students could produce to show they have mastered what they need to learn. So it is also important students need to know not only the goals but also the product or what you are going, or the way you are going to assess that they learn. Yeah. Sorry. And once the big picture is established, sorry, teacher works with the student. Sorry. Can someone help me reading this? Well, okay, I can continue. Once the big picture is established, teacher works with the students to bring evidence of learning into the assessment process. Okay? So here, you have like the kind of goals or the characteristics goals need to have. And here you have like this picture, and it says SMART. So it is like an acronym of the characteristics goals should have. So you have a specific. What do you think this refers to? Why should goals should be specific?
Is that a question, teacher?
Yeah. Why do you?
Well,
so here you have the characteristics. They should
yeah.
be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Why do you think they should be specific?
Well, I think that they should be specific because when you have like a big goal, let's suppose that you want them to learn about, I don't know, daily routines. But there are many things including into daily routines. You may talk about pronunciation, you may talk about grammar, you may talk about just fluency, you may talk about many things. So you have to be very specific into the goal in order to do or develop the necessary activities for them to get the specific goal. So that's why you have like a general goal, and into that general goal there are specific goals that are gonna help you to get to the general goal.
Exactly, and this characteristic is related to attainable, because if you have like a broad goal, maybe it is not going to be attainable. So you need to be very specific. Okay, thank you. Measurable. Why do you think it should be measurable?
Me, teacher. I consider that it is very important to show possible goals. So we have to have measurable goals in order that the students can get them in a near future.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Yes, and you have to include the way you are going to measure that goal. because maybe you can set a goal that says, well, to know the simple present tense, for example. But how are you going to know if the students know the simple present tense? So you have to specify the way. So you, in this case, you can use like to talk, to describe, yeah. So to be, well, everything is related. So you have, when you are specific, you have to include the way you are going to measure if the students learn the topic you are going to teach. Okay, the third characteristic is attainable. What do you think it means?
Very similar to the former, that the students can get it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I have an idea. I have an idea about what is attainable. Well, and I don't think it's the same as measurable. Measurable is something that actually can be measured, because sometimes when you establish a goal, it's way too general that it's complicated to determine whether it has been reached at a certain level or not. Attainable is something that can be reached, something that can be done. And we know that when we set a goal, it's important that those goals are attainable, are reachable, that our students will be able to get there. And that's what it means by attainable, which is, and by all means, different to measurable.
Exactly, yeah. It has to be realistic. If you know that your students are like, or have like A1 level, you cannot expect them to have a fluent conversation about any topic, for example. Yeah, so it has something that, yes, needs to be realistic. And yeah, you're right, Bianca. Thank you very much. Number 4, that is relevant. Why do you think the goal should be relevant?
The activity, not, sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry. Relevant that activity has concordance in order to the level of the activity. So the activity can reach the goals. For me, it's relevant.
Okay, okay, Francisco. Who was going to talk?
Me, teacher, Arley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that relevant is that something to be like important for them, like relevant for them, because if you set a goal, but they don't see like the importance of getting the goal, maybe they're not gonna do it. I'm sorry, maybe they're not gonna do it. So that's why I think it should be relevant, because if they don't see the importance, they're not gonna do it. So that's what I think it is. I don't know if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, you have to present the goal in a way students find it meaningful, or find what they are going to learn meaningful. Yeah, so it's not just telling them what they are going to learn, but what for. What is it that knowledge is going to be useful for them? Yeah, so students need to find the importance of learning that topic. And well, in this case, you have to take into account the students' context. So in that way, they can relate it to their reality, and they can find it meaningful. Very good, Arley and Francisco, thank you. And finally, it needs to be time bound. What do you think it refers to?
Well, I consider that in this case, we have to take into account the time that we are going to spend in the topic, or our purpose about what is the topic. We have to see it and think about the time that you are going to spend on it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. You have to be specific about the time. How long do you think it is going to take to learn the topic? Yeah. So it is going to take like a term. It is going to take the whole year. Well, you have to take those aspects into account. So when you set the goal, well, it is going to be clear for the students, and they are going to know what you expect from them, and taking into account all these characteristics. Okay. So, well, something that is important here is that when you set these goals, it communicates an educational path. So students know what is the path they are going to follow in order to reach that goal. Yeah. Here in the presentation, well, there is another characteristic that is spiral. Yeah, and here you have a link about a video that describes what a spiral goal is. Well, this is for you to check it later when you have some time, because, well, in this moment we don't have much time. But, well, I just wanted to ask you if you have any idea about what a spiral goal is, or what a spiral curriculum is. Any ideas? Or what can you imagine about it? Yeah, I'm going to leave this presentation in the platform, in the folder that says presentations. Yeah. Okay, any ideas about this spiral curriculum? Ideas? Okay, I'm just going to tell you like a general idea about a spiral curriculum, but I would like you to check this video. A spiral curriculum is like when you learn something, or when you teach something to students, well, you go back to those topics as you advance in levels or in courses. Yeah. So in that way, okay, in that way, the topics or knowledge is not something that, well, you talk about once and then you forget it. The spiral curriculum continues talking or practicing the same topics, but in a different level of difficulty. So knowledge is not going to be something that the students practice once and then they forget about it. So you retake, or you go back over the topics with a different level of difficulty, something like that. Yeah. So these are like the characteristics curriculum should have. Okay. So, well, something that is also really important is like Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy. Benjamin Bloom was a professor at Chicago University, and he developed a taxonomy to develop different thinking skills. And he classified educational objectives to guide instruction and assessment. And this is something that we cannot forget when we are going to design our virtual learning environment. So he categorized the different levels of learning. Well, in his taxonomy, he has 6 levels of knowledge, and they are thought to build on one another. So they have like an order. Yeah. Well, I think that you know about it. Well, the first one is knowledge. Then we have comprehension, then application, analysis, synthesis, and finally evaluation. So evaluation would be like the more advanced level, and knowledge would be the basic one. Yeah. So here, well, we have like some characteristics of each of these levels. So the first one, that is knowledge, is related to observation and recall of information. For example, knowledge of dates, events, places, knowledge of major ideas, the feeling of being acquainted, or, well, it is related to rote memory. And here you have like some question cues you can use. For example, when you are going to set a goal, when you want to develop this level, so you have, for example, list, define, tell, describe, identify, show, label, collect, examine, tabulate, quote, name, who, when, where, etc. Then we have the second level, that is comprehension, and it is related to understanding information, grasp meaning, interpret facts, order, group, infer causes, predict consequences. And the question cues you can use here are summarize, describe, interpret, predict, associate, distinguish, estimate, differentiate, discuss, and extend. Yep. The level number 3 is application. So here students are supposed to use information, apply methods, concepts, theories in new situations, solve problems using required skills or knowledge. And the question cues you could use here are apply, demonstrate, calculate, complete, illustrate, show, solve, examine, modify, relate, change, classify, experiment, and discover. Then we have analysis, that is related to seeing patterns, comparing and contrasting, organization of parts, recognition of hidden meanings, identification of components, and the question cues you can use here are analyze, break, forget, explain, connect, classify, arrange, divide, compare, select, explain, infer. So these are just some examples because you can find more. Then we have synthesis, that is related to use all ideas to create new ones, generalize from given facts, relate knowledge from several areas, predict or draw conclusions, and the question cues you can use here are combine, integrate, modify, rearrange, substitute, plan, create, design, invent. What if, like, is used to generate hypotheses, compose, formulate, prepare, generalize, and rewrite. And finally, we have evaluation. In this, that is the most advanced level. Students are supposed to compare and discriminate between ideas, assess value theories, presentations, like to be critical, make choices based on reason and argument, verify value of evidence, recognize subjectivity. And the question cues you can use here are assess, decide, run, rate, test, measure, recommend, convince, select, judge, explain, discriminate, support, conclude, compare, and summarize. So I am going to back to the first level, that is knowledge. And taking into account these characteristics, I would like to tell me an example of an activity that you already use in your virtual learning environment, or you think you could use or could be used in any virtual learning environment to develop this level knowledge. What do you think could be an example of an activity to develop this level knowledge? Any ideas? Okay, Giancarlo says identify some words from a picture with a vocabulary list. Yeah, that's right. Very good. Because here, well, they have to observe. Yeah, they have to identify. Very good. Excellent. Okay, let's go to the second level, that is comprehension. What example can you think of in this level? Play rules. Okay. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. Very good. What else? Yeah. Here. Well, they have to interpret, associate, discuss, order a conversation that is in disorder. Very good. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Application. Unscrambled words as well. Yeah. Very good. In application, what activity could we develop here? In a virtual learning environment. What do you think? A match game. Okay, yeah. What else? Well, in a match game, you relate, you complete, you could change. Fill in the gaps activity. Very good, because you need to complete. Use information from a short text to answer some questions. Yeah, very good. Excellent, yeah. In the analysis level, topics about real life, yeah. In the analysis level, what activity could we use here? Identify the purpose of a writer from a text. Very good. It could be related to recognition of hidden meanings. Organize sentences or texts. Yeah. Very good. Okay. In the next level, that is synthesis. Ideas about activities that we could use here. Create a short story. Very good. Create a conversation. Give different endings of the stories. That is a good activity. Yeah. Very good. And the final one, that is evaluation. What activities could we use here? What do you think about it? That is the highest level. Debate. Yeah. Write an essay to say whether you agree or disagree with that statement. Yeah. Very good. In this case, you would be assessing value of theories or opinions in the case of the debates. Very good. Yeah. Well, so the idea is that you have like all the levels in your virtual learning environment, because students need to start from from the knowledge level and they have to reach the evaluation level. Because you have to check that if you have like all of the activities are like identify, read, well, you are just in the knowledge level, but you need to have like a process, and the students need to advance in that process. So that's why you have to check if you have like at least one activity of each level, so you can develop their, or they can learn and advance little by little during the learning process they have with the virtual learning environment. Okay, very good. Well, so here we have instruction. Well, there are like the other two aspects that I wanted to talk about, that is instruction and is assessment. But well, I know that we are, time is almost over. So I'm going to paste this presentation in the virtual classroom. So take a look of this presentation, and next class we continue discussing about instruction and assessment and the relationship these three aspects have: curriculum, instruction, and assessment. So check the presentation, bring ideas for the next encounter, and we will continue talking about this, okay? Next week, we are going to have the Voice Thread Forum activity. That is a forum where you are not going to write, but you are going to speak. If you want, you can check the website. You need to open an account in VoiceThread so you can participate in the forum. But well, I'm going to post the study guide, and you are going to find all of the instructions there to open the account and to access the forum I'm going to open about. Well, I'm going to post like 3 questions about technology, and in the forum you are going to discuss about those 3 questions, okay? So that is the activity for next week. But well, I wanted to tell you about it, so you are going to have an idea of what you have to do next week. And okay, Carolina, it's okay. And well, I hope you can finish your virtual learning environments. I know that this is one of the hardest activities you have in the course. And well, if you have questions, comments, write to me. For the students that are working with platforms or virtual classrooms, remember to give me access, because if I need a password, you have to tell me the password and you have to give me the links. So I will be able to access your virtual learning environments. Please give me access, not as a student, but as the role you have in the platform. Yeah. If you want, you can share your password with me, and I can access as the administrator or as the teacher, because sometimes you give me access as a student and I cannot see everything. So please take that into account. Okay. Okay, are you worried about the time for this activity? Oh, why, Giancarlo? What happened?
Teacher.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Rafael, and I'm about to go. Is that I want to ask you something? Is related to next week. Do you have class next week? Due to is Holy Week, or doesn't matter?
No, we are not going to have class because it's Holy Week. We will. Our next class would be after Holy Week.
And assessments also, or not?
Sorry?
And assessments also, or not? Activities, we're going to develop some activities during next week, or not?
No. I think, well, you are going to find the schedule, and Holy Week is not included in the activities.
Because you were talking about next week and
Okay, yeah, sorry.
minutes ago, so I got confused.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
clarify that. After Holy Week would be our next week.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so thank you very much and bye because I have to go have another class.
Okay, it's okay. Then.
Okay.
Okay, Giancarlo. Okay, write me an email and we can see what can we do about it. Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, so let's take that into account. Next week we are not going to have class and you are not going to have activities. Anyway, I'm going to open the unit 3 next week if you want to advance in your activities. But it's not mandatory to work next week. If it's up to you. If you want to advance, well, this is your decision, okay? But the voice read activity would be for the week after holiday. After Holy Week, okay? Okay, so thank you very much. Have a good night, have a good Holy Week, rest, and we meet again after Holy Week. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and bye-bye.